Hi you guys, welcome back to another report and update of the quarterly private property market. As always, I'll go through with you how the market has performed, what signals we could be drawing from the broader market, where it could possibly be heading, and how we can all be prepared to take action. Alright, let's start. So this is a PPI. You can see it's by the type of property. We have residential, office, and retail. For the residential property, we have increased by 3.8% in third quarter of 2022 compared with a 3.5 increase in the previous quarter. So now we are standing at 187.80 on the PPI. If we compare all three quarters this year, you guys, we have already increased by 8%, alright? And if you were to break this down into two different segments, which is namely the landed property and the non-landed property. For the landed property in Q3, we have increased by 1.6% compared to 2.9% in quarter 2. And for the non-landed properties, we have increased by 4.4%, right? And this is higher. In Q2, we experienced a 3.6% increase. And with the present mortgage rates, I would actually expect larger quantum property volumes to slow down significantly. But then again, it does not necessarily translate to a drop in price, alright? So let me just show you an example. This is the landed property transactions, right? And namely, you will see here in this column will be September this year, followed by October, November, break into total number of units transacted. This is this is terrace, semi-D, and then we have detached and the GCBs combined. Yeah. So in September, we did in total of 160 units transactions. In October, it fell right to 125, and in November at 101. And we further break this up. You can see for terraces, we did 92 units in September, followed by October 78 units, and then again in November it came down to 64 units. Semi-Ds is the same thing from 51 to 34 and then to 26. And then for the much larger properties, 17, 13, and 11. We do not know what is the actual data now for December. But if we compare this, you realize that the good old days, right? That's 1 year back in July 2021. We actually did total transactions in a single month of 365 units, right? This is just amazing, a lot, isn't it? The volume has actually dropped by more than 70%, right, guys? And for the terraces, it was at 205 in July, 111 transactions for the semi-Ds, and 49 units of detached houses and GCBs, yeah? And we can see in this slide that though you see the volume has dropped, right? The volume has dropped, right? Yeah. But the prices hasn't. It is still holding steady. Sellers are not dropping their price. In fact, the sellers have very good holding power, right? And this is what I actually spoke about in my recent video, the Singapore property trend, and I'll just put it up here for your easy reference. This slide shows you the different regions of Singapore for the performance, right? You can see that for the first 3 quarters for the CCR, right, we're still growing strong, very steady. RCR has also gone up, and of course, the highest percentage in terms of growth is OCR units. And I think this is natural because the OCR price quantum and the rest of the region has, I think, quite a large gap, and then naturally it grows at a much faster pace. Then again, followed by RCR, right? But again, this just tells you that the demand on the ground is still very healthy. Yeah? Like always, this chart pipeline supply actually shows you the new development and redevelopment projects with planning approvals, and this would mean provisional permission and written permission given. Yeah. You can see this, I break it down. For this 4th quarter, we're expecting to take delivery of 3,619 units, private condominiums. And here, the one in blue will be the EC. So in 2023, again, this is one of the highest number of properties that is going to be delivered to the owners, followed by 2024, right? 2025, 2026, and beyond. Now, you can see that beyond 2025, we do not have much new inventories coming into the market, but of course, these figures will change upon new developments or redevelopment plans get planning approval, right? So, how do we then use such information for our planning? With this graph, to be honest, I'm actually looking forward to 2023 because this is the highest number of inventories that's going to be introduced into the market, and I think it's going to be great to witness this as a test of demand and supply. Yeah. This will be the total inventories, and as of third quarter this year, there's a total supply of 49,384 units, uncompleted residential units. This exclude ECs, right? This basically tells you not delivered yet, right? Some of it also not in the market sold yet, yeah? All right. What you see in orange is basically potential new supply that is going to be introduced into the total supply. This will come out from the GLS or the en bloc that has not been granted planning approvals yet. So once this is granted, you then be thrown into the blue color column, yeah, and add on to the supply of the total inventories. This is good for you to just take note what is the demand like, right? What is the balance units in the market for buyers to choose from? And you can see that in the first quarter of this year, volume did drop, right, to only 1,000 plus, not even 2,000 units, and because that was just after the cooling measures back in December 2021, right, where they reduced the TDSR and all the other things that they've done. But it kind of picked up second quarter of 2022 and then again third quarter of this year. And in total, I think you add all this up, we should be hitting this year at least a 10,000 volume, right? And you can see that this 10,000 volume is going to be about the same as 2017, 1819, 20 type of demand, yeah? So I guess you can say that the demand is still steady. But this is when you put all of these four graphs together, just for your reference. What about the resale market? Yep, the resale market, this I've put the data back till 2010. You can see this is the transactions. Last year was amazing. We did 19 over 1,000. I think this was the highest in the whole decade. Yeah, but for this year, you can see that for Q3 we did in the resale market a total of 3,719 units exchanging hands. And if you add these 3 quarters together, we have not added on the fourth quarter yet. We've already hit 11,000 units, right, that have exchanged hands. And I think for this year, we will easily hit the numbers of 2017 to 2018. Yeah. And you can see that this sentiment or this demand in the market is very different compared to 2013 till 2016, where in a single year the resale transaction was less than 8,000, and for the worst year was in 2014 with only less than 5,000 units transaction, right? And if you look at these two time periods, you realize that in 2013 to 2016, this was the environment of really almost zero interest rate environment, isn't it? But today, even in a high interest rate, the demand is still there, yeah? It's still there. This is just to show you again, if you compare quarter to quarter, this is for the new sale, right? These are for the various years, the quarter, right? Still strong. And for the resale, it's really very healthy, yeah? 3719 is even higher than in 19 and higher than in 20, yeah? So for me, when I look at this, I still think that many families and many people are still looking or working towards owning their first private property, or to even own multiple private properties, right? The Singapore dream is still alive, guys. Let's now take a look at some new supply in the market. Lentor Central, right? This is in the news almost every month, I think. This piece of land which is just behind Lentor Modern. It has been awarded, like done deal, sold already. September 2022 at a land cost of 1108 per square feet per plot ratio. The estimated number of units in this plot of land would be about 470 units. Yeah. Next, you have this small, I think this is the smallest parcel among all. It's also been awarded back in September 2022 at 1130 per square feet per plot ratio, estimated units 265, right? And if we were to look at now, this, what I'm showing you right now, basically those in purple, it's already been sold, right? Let's just take a look. This is the whole Lentor redevelopment or right upcoming estate. Lentor Modern, 605 units, land cost of 1204 per square feet per plot ratio, selling price at about averagely, right, $2,200 per square feet. Yes, there are units that has transacted above 24 and 25. With 2200, I've just made an estimated margin of 22%. Right, this is going to be launched soon. Land cost at 1060, and if I were to also use an estimated margin of 22%, this would be the estimated selling price if they wanted to have the same margin, yeah. And these two plots of land too, right? Let's just take a look at the orange one first, yeah. This has been launched in October 2022. The deadline will be in April 4th, Tuesday, estimated 5:30 for developers to apply. And these two will be under the reserve list. Right? This will be launched in April 2023, and then this is going to conclude the whole of the transformation of Lentor area. Now, back to what I was speaking about in terms of pricing. You can see for the land behind here, at a land cost of 1108, if the developer were to wish to enjoy the same profit margin of 22%, they could choose to sell at 2084 plus minus per square feet. Yeah. Same as this land, they bought one of the cheapest, 1060. If they wanted to enjoy the same margin, again, they can choose to sell at 2025, and the one at the back also, right? The smallest plot of land. Now, what this means is this. Because these are all in the same area and just a couple of steps to walk, right? 1-2 minutes difference. The difference, if I compare in terms of the pricing, is about $116 per square feet, which would translate to about 116,000 per 1,000 square feet of space, right? What this would mean is that for the buyers that have bought Lentor Modern, this would then be your risk, okay? Your risk is that because the rest of the plot of land is going to be launched 1 and 2 years apart, it's going to be sold in the resale market also, and this would mean that all the other units, if the developer were to just take in the same profit margin, it will mean that they can choose to sell cheaper than yours, right? If you're buying this for own sale, that's fairly well and good. But if you're looking for a quick profit gain in the next 4 to 5 years, what I'm trying to tell you is that you're going to face with two type of risk factor. One is your ability to sell at a good rate because the other units are able to sell at a cheaper price. Yep. Secondly is the rental, right? Because you sell at a more expensive price, you bought at a more expensive per square feet in terms of quantum. The other units is just a couple of minutes walk away from Lentor MRT station. They could choose to rent at a cheaper price. Yeah. So this is the risk that you have to weigh, right? And those of you who have bought at above 2.4 and 2.5, right? Just bear in mind what I just said, and let's see what happens as the years pass. Yeah? Right, another new plot of land, Bukit Timah Link. This is awarded in 2022 for you guys who love Bukit Timah area. This has been done. It's going to be sold most probably third quarter of next year, or sorry, fourth quarter of next year, or early 2024. Estimated 160 units. The land cost, right, is 1343 per square feet per plot ratio. So everything now is going to be above 2,000 per square feet, yeah? Hillview, for your Hillview lovers, this is just behind Glendale, the freehold land here, right? This is the plot of land that has been concluded. November, it's been awarded at a land cost of 1024 per square feet per plot ratio. Walking distance to the Hillview MRT station, right? Estimated 335 units to be sold. Now this is interesting, right? This one has just been launched in December this year. Deadline will be in June next year for applicants to apply. And you can see here it has 790 units and 750 square meters of commercial space. It is a residential with commercial at the first floor. Now look at the location, right? This location is next to the future Marina South MRT station, and it's just next to Gardens by the Bay. Yep. But what is interesting is just adjacent to it, which is the Marina Gardens Crescent. This is a white site. The launch date is next year, just after the deadline of this land, right? You can see the huge difference in terms of its commercial space, right? This is a full commercial area, a full commercial mall, because the commercial size space given is 6,000 square meters, right? So imagine how humongous this place is going to be. So I think this is going to sit very well for those of you who have invested early on in other projects and you're looking to sell perhaps end of 2023 or early 2024, because this one, once it's launched in June 2023, most probably it will be sold end of 2024, okay, plus minus around there. So you'll be then well in place to look whether if this price at the time makes sense, you can reinvest again. Jalan Tambusu, right? Same area, Tanjong Katong area. This has already been awarded early this year at 1,302 per square feet per plot ratio. This has been launched. I think this is an error. It's not much. Sorry, the launch date. Yeah, the launch date is in 2023. So let's just see. Most probably the price should be higher, right? A total estimate of 840 units. This is something for you just keep your eye on. Yeah. Oh yeah, for Jalan Tambusu, guys, look out if you like the East Coast living, Katong living, right? Nice piece of land, very good size beside Head Court. Most probably this should launch first to second quarter of next year. Right, I've gone through with you the confirmed list for next year. Now let's just look at the reserve list. This has been awarded Pine Grove, middle of this year at 1,318 per square feet per plot ratio. This is under the reserve list. It's already available for application just next to it, right? 565 units. This one I like to talk about, right? This new land, this piece of land, which is Clementi Avenue 1, sandwich or in between Clavon and the Clement Canopy, right? Launch date November 2022, right? This is on the reserve list, free for application right now. Let's see what happens here. But for me, I really like this type of play, right? Where you have the Clement Canopy. When it was awarded, this land was in December 2015. Land cost at 615 square feet per plot ratio. And then a couple of years later, this is released and then it was sold at 788 per square feet per plot ratio. So you can see that the price has increased. And if this is successfully sold, right, if you can still remember, Hillview was taken at 1024, and I don't think this piece of land is going to be anything short of that. It's going to be either the same. I think it's going to be higher anyways, and therefore the early buyers of Clavon just needs this parcel of land to be sold. They can sit back and just enjoy their profits. Make sense? So I always prefer such a setup compared to Lentor Modern, yeah? But that's just me. You got to weigh your own risk, yeah? All right. And that's it. I hope this makes sense to all of you. All right. It gives you better understanding of the market, what to look out for, right? If not, then I'll see you in my next video.